You are about to hear things that will completely change how you perceive your baby. This is not complicated at all, and does not require expensive toys or any special training process. It is so simple and obvious that most parents walk past it every day without ever noticing. In fact, there are 3 things that your baby is actually programmed to love. 3 things that, when you perform them, the baby's brain will light up like a fireworks display. Science has confirmed time and again that they shape the emotional intelligence, language development, self-confidence, and capacity for love of your child. However, there is a slightly heart-wrenching truth. Most parents almost never do these things. Not because they do not care, but because no one ever told them. Modern parenting culture is too obsessed with sleep schedules, eating habits, or choosing a suitable stroller, while completely ignoring the most important factors for the baby's developing mind. In this script, I will lead you through all 5 of these things, based on a foundation of practical neuroscience that you can start applying today. After understanding, you will never look at your baby in the same way again. Before diving into the first thing, we need to clarify a truth about children's brains that most people find shocking. Your baby is not a passive creature waiting to grow up. From the very first days of life, children operate an incredibly sophisticated social program. They are constantly scanning faces, reading emotions, listening for patterns, and building a mental model of the world based almost entirely on how you interact with them. Every moment with the baby is data, and the baby is collecting it all. These are not cute preferences, but deep biological needs. When children do not receive enough of these experiences, researchers can actually measure differences in brain structure years later. Let's start with number 1. Slow and exaggerated facial expressions held a little longer than usual. You might think you often make funny faces at your child, but science points to a very specific way of operating that most parents do slightly wrong. Researchers at the University of Washington discovered that when parents create exaggerated expressions, such as wide eyes, a radiant smile, and magnified surprise, and hold them for 1 to 2 seconds longer than what feels natural, something remarkable happens in the baby's brain. The neural pathways responsible for emotional recognition activate more strongly and repeatedly compared to normal interactions. In other words, the baby's brain is practicing how to read emotions, and the slower and more exaggerated you do it, the more practice the baby gets. Most parents usually rush through their expressions. They make a face and then move on to something else, talk, or look away immediately, causing the baby, who has just begun processing the image, to miss the window of opportunity. Imagine this is like trying to read a page of a book that someone flips too quickly. You only catch fragments without a full picture. When you slow down, make a surprised face, and hold it while looking into the baby's eyes, you are giving their brain time to download the entire emotional signal. Babies absolutely love that. The next time you try this, you will see the baby lock eyes with you, almost motionless, and then break into the most sincere smile. This shared moment is connection and love. You are not just bonding. You are building the part of the brain that helps children understand others' emotions, navigate friendships, and manage conflicts later on. It all starts with just a face held for 1 second longer than normal. Next is number 2, serve and return, the high-quality version. You may have heard this term from pediatricians, but the version that truly helps restructure the brain for resilience and language has an important component that is often overlooked. The basic way it works is that the baby does something, that is the serve, and you respond, that is the return. However, the quality of the response is much more important than the frequency. The issue is not how many times you respond, but how you respond. Infants need what researchers call a contingent response. This is a response that directly matches, mirrors, or builds upon exactly what the baby just did. At that point, their brain registers it differently than a generic response. Neural circuits related to cause and effect communication activate more strongly, helping the child learn that their actions have power and that they themselves are important. In many families, when a baby makes a sound, parents often just say, "Oh, right, you're so good," and then continue with their own business. That is a friendly response, but it is not contingent because it does not mirror or build upon the baby's action. A true contingent response is when you respond with the same pitch and rhythm as the baby, add a little expression, and wait. This back and forth is your child's first conversation. Neuroscientists at Harvard indicate that this type of sincere interaction is one of the most powerful brain-building experiences in the first year of life. Babies who receive high-quality serve and return interactions will develop a larger vocabulary, stronger working memory, and better emotional regulation by age 3. Quality is more important than quantity. Number 3. The gift of silence and respecting rest signals. Modern environments with bright toys and constant stimulation often cause babies to be chronically overstimulated. An overstimulated baby is not a happy baby. Their nervous system is running at excessive speed to process more information than they can bear. Symptoms include the child starting to look away, turning their head, or fussing. Parents' natural reaction is often to increase attention or introduce a new toy, but in reality, the baby is sending a signal that they need rest. They are speaking in their only language. I need a moment to return to myself. When you recognize and respect that signal by softening your face, reducing stimulation, and just breathing, you are doing something incredibly profound. You are teaching the child's nervous system how to regulate and modeling the pause. Silence is safe. Babies do not need constant entertainment. They need parents who know when to stop. The pause is also a form of love. In summary, these 3 things are not random. They form a picture of the baby's brain's true needs. Children do not need more. They need the right things done with full presence and complete awareness. Slow, exaggerated expressions help the brain learn about emotions. Contingent mirroring responses teach children that their voices have power. Eye contact attunement teaches children that they are seen and loved. And the pause allows the nervous system to breathe. These are not parenting techniques or tricks, but moments that become the child's first understanding of what it means to be a human being in a relationship. You do not need degrees or expensive programs, you just need to be present for the child's needs. Every time you slow down an expression, mirror your baby's sounds, set your phone aside to look at your child, or give your child the gift of silence, you are shaping a brain and building a self. You are writing the first chapters of the story that the child will carry throughout their life. The baby is observing, learning, and loving you unconditionally, even when they do not yet have the words to express it. One day they will have words, and that starts right now, with you. It is not the toys, not the extra classes, and not the developmental milestones precisely aligned day by day. It is your warmth in the darkness, your loving presence when the child needs to feel safest, that stays with the child longest and deepest. So, the next time you feel like you are doing repetitive and meaningless things, smile, because you are building a world, bit by bit, inside that tiny soul. Has your baby ever had a reaction that surprised you? A moment where they seemed to understand your thoughts in a way you did not expect? Please share your story in the comments. I am always here to listen and accompany you on this miraculous journey.